to go to Matt Hough next. You're up with Merril.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. Merril, absolutely honored to talk to you today, man, on so many levels. I grew up watching you. I'm a huge football fan. I love that you played the position where no one gets any credit, and I would argue there were hardest jobs in the field, and you did it so well. 10 touchdowns in 1990. Everyone knew that. That's unbelievable for a fullback. What I admire about you the most, though, believe it or not, is your real passion for preparation. And everyone knows football players have to prepare, but if you could talk to me and the group about your preparation for the NFL show you did, because I would love to hear your theories on preparation, how you applied it, because you did such an amazing job on ESPN when you were there.
Well, listen, I actually appreciate that question. It's funny. I'll get opportunities to speak to high school, even college groups. And one of the questions I always ask, like, what's one of the most important things to be successful? My first thing is be prepared. Be prepared. That word to me is a powerful word. I think it can somewhat be misunderstood by people, what is really being prepared. So when you think, shoot, in the National Football League, I'm going to tell you this, what I learned early on, and I learned it fast, is not just being prepared. It wasn't just enough knowing the opponent. The details of the opponent were critical. If you really want to be great, you have to know the details of your opponent. So when you talk about ESPN, I remember when I got my second job, because I was doing college football, launched ESPN2. They had it's a long story, but actually a teammate of mine, Sean Gill, had basically kind of quit ESPN and the matchup show. So they wanted me to move to the matchup show. And I remember the producer, who's still there, Greg Cosell, he called me up. He said, "Hey, listen, you're going to be working with the two hardest guys that were the two hardest working guys on television, Mark Malone and Ron Jaworski." Okay, that didn't scare me. I was glad I could. Mark Malone was a teammate of mine. That didn't bother me. And he said, "Here's the requirements you're going to have. You're going to have to work hard and be prepared." I was like, when he had said that, I hung the phone up. I go, "I got this. I got this," because I know what working hard is and being prepared. Now, I didn't realize what prepared mean. Unfortunately, this pedestal my phone's on is sitting on a computer that has all the coaching tape of the entire season to this point. I get it I was just watching it before I jumped over here. So to be prepared, do I watch games on Sunday and Monday and Thursday? Yes. But I always tell people TV lies and highlights really lie. And I confirm that every week, because I'll make notes. I'll jot something down I saw on television. I'll see a highlight reel. I'll jot something down I saw on the highlight reel. Then I plug in the tape. I think I have been right 0.01% of the time. And that's just because I played the game and I know some of the intricacies. I've studied it for almost 30 years. But then when you put on the all 22 angle, the wide angle and the end zone angle, and you look at a play in its due diligence, which, listen, fans just don't have that opportunity. That's why, when people make judgments, and even people who played, I tell people all the time, if you played, goes for me too. Once 2 years has gone by, you are irrelevant in the National Football League. 1/3 of the players are already new. You didn't play against. You don't even know who they are. Schemes evolve. They change. And if you can't watch tape, you just can't know. Now, here's the problem with it. It's not easy. It takes hours. On the matchup show, we used to joke. I used to take the second segment or third segment at some point, but it was always when Sal came to me. And I'd say, "Sal, 56 hours of tape study this week, 3 hours of charity work, and then 2 hours in the woods," something like that, right? So people will go, "You really spend 56 hours?" I'm like, 56 hours is probably the minimum to get ready. And there's 22 minutes in a half-hour show, which our show is a half hour. There is going to be about 7 minutes of content I get. It's going to take me 56 hours to get ready for 7 to 8 minutes. That's how much time it's going to take to get ready for those 3. But I am loaded to do. Now, I did other shows at ESPN, but once I did that, I could do any show in America at any time and every time. And I can give true insight. You know, I don't sit there and go, oh, these guys are terrible. What's terrible mean? That's not even fair. If you're going to say somebody's bad, you at least explain why they're struggling, you know. And as a player, that's honestly what drove me to broadcasting, is because so many people would point out things that were actually just so incorrect. And then they would say, you know, just brutal things that were unfair. Oh, this guy's terrible. This guy shouldn't have the ball. This is the first round pick. You could go into a game with a check with me system. And guess what? It doesn't matter who the runner is. It depends on the defense. That's how come there's so many things that, so that's what I thought, you know, if I could help fans understand it to that level, but the only way I could do it was watching tape. And I remember my first show I did it with Ron Jaworski and Mark Malone. And I remember when I got done with that show, I said, I will never, ever sit on a set with Ron Jaworski and not be prepared. I will never do that, because that cat is prepared. Now, he had like 10 years experience before I got there, but I'm like, that cat I will never sit here and not be prepared. For 22 years, I never sat next to him and I wasn't prepared. And, you know, doing that in any craft, I just think it goes back to a responsibility that is completely on you. And to be prepared clearly gives you opportunities too, because I forgot to share with that matchup show that I ended up going to. Because I had prepared so well with college, that's why they moved me there, because of my preparation aspect of college, and because they needed an NFL guy. That's what really ended up being the final straw for that, them hiring me to move me over there.